The Nintendo Switch 2 has been out for over a week now, so let's dive into my thoughts. The Nintendo Switch 2 has been a console I've been anticipating for well over 3 years now. When the rumours began circling a few years ago, I was immediately interested in the idea of a Switch 2 being a reality. Then the Switch OLED came out, which I didn't buy because I had no reason to. The hype surrounding this mysterious but clearly soon to come console was always on my radar as someone who has grown up with every Nintendo console since the DS back in 2008. But then out of seemingly nowhere, Nintendo does what Nintendo does best and just casually announces it on a random day in January. Following the multiple directs and treehouses showcasing this thing, my excitement for the console grew, especially with the bombshell teaser of a brand new Mario Kart launching alongside the system. So in the middle of April, I pre-ordered my very own without any hesitation and waited diligently for June 5th. Unboxing and experiencing this system for the first time brought me back to 2017 when I first got my original Switch. I also had a very special excitement for that console thanks to the marketing leading up to it, and my parents being amazing enough to buy me one on launch day, and this felt no different. The Switch 2 is the first console I've ever actually purchased myself, and the first piece of new tech I've ever owned as an adult, so you can imagine how important this moment was for me. The first thing I have to praise the Switch 2 for is its build quality. The overall level of care and detail that's gone into this thing is pretty remarkable, and it feels like a significant bump in quality over the OG Switch. One thing many of you might not know is that Nintendo only makes a minuscule profit on each system, as these things cost well over $400 to manufacture according to insiders. This is why I don't really understand all the criticism for the cost of the console. Even as a Nintendo lover, I think charging £430 for the console with Mario Kart World included is a very reasonable deal, especially for accounting how much inflation has affected our economy. But yeah, the build quality is fantastic. It feels great to hold, the screen reflects everything elegantly, and the new magnet system for the Joy-Cons, whilst daunting at first, feels incredible to use. Upon booting up the system, you'll notice that the UI is practically identical to the original, with some minor tweaks to enhance the experience. Everything is surrounded by this gorgeous pink and blue illuminating border that gives the system a modern flair. Everything also loads so much quicker than it used to. You can really notice the difference between the consoles in this regard, and same goes for the overall fluidity of the menus. I am disappointed we still don't have any new themes for the system, and I'm really hoping Nintendo rectifies this issue, as I don't know a single person who doesn't want this feature. If we could get themes like this on the 3DS, we can get them on the Switch too. But in general, I really do like how it looks now. The rounded edges work so much better in this space, and match with the shape of the brand new dock as well. But enough about the UI, it's time to talk about the... For sake of discussion and the spirit of fairness, let's first talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Should this game be free? Yeah. However, after giving it a few hours of my time, I genuinely don't feel robbed of my money after playing it. To begin with, let me say that this game is way bigger than I initially thought. For an £8 game, you'd probably expect nothing more than maybe 2 hours of your time. But I'm 6 hours into this thing and still not anywhere near done with it at the time of writing this video. The amount of minigames is quite impressive here, and each one does a masterful job at showcasing all the new aspects of the console. Many of them utilise the brand new mouse feature on the Joy-Cons, which to my surprise actually felt intuitive to use. I'm not sure how many of the games are going to feature this system going forward, but for games like Metroid Prime 4, which we know will incorporate it into its gunplay, I can't say I'm not excited to test it out in that format. One thing I love about Welcome Tour is its progression system. You aren't required to seek out everything if you don't want to. The game contains tech demos and a variety of quizzes that give you details regarding every micro inch of the console, but these are only required to do if you truly want to do them. You do collect medals for completing everything the game has to offer. However, your main way of progressing through the game is by collecting stamps dotted across each part of the map. Stamps are located at every landmark part of the system, such as the buttons, magnets, air vents and more. They feel actively fun to collect, and the sound they make honestly just gets my brain going. And this experience doesn't feel like just a glorified tech demo, it does honestly feel like a proper game. I've learned a lot about the console through these quizzes that explain everything in simple terms that anyone can understand. If you're a fan of technology or just Nintendo as a whole, I honestly think that Welcome Tour is worth the money. I did play it after trying these out, so my journey through it hasn't been as enthralling as someone playing it immediately upon launching the console, but I can't say I haven't been impressed and genuinely engaged with a lot of what it has to offer. My only real complaint with it is the annoyance of being locked out of certain parts because I don't own a 4K HDR display or a camera to hook up to the console. Although I am aware that without these there wouldn't be any reason to play this content anyway, it's just a little irritating for someone like me who loves 100% in collectathons like this. Also, fuck this minigame, you don't even want to know how much time I've sank into it trying to get this fucking medal. The brand new additions to the online expansion pack were pretty exciting for me personally, and seeing Luigi's Mansion and Wind Waker being available on the system, I had no choice but to cave and upgrade my online subscription to try these out. I haven't played Wind Waker yet as I'm saving it for a time where I'll really sink my teeth into it, but I did try the other two available games of F-Zero GX and Soul Calibur 2. I'd heard F-Zero was challenging, but fuck me, this game is on crack. I could only get to the end of the second Grand Prix and then I died like 50 times and got a game over and stopped playing. But from what I did try, I do think I'll play through the story mode of this. It's a blast that I can really see myself enjoying. And honestly, I think the same goes for Soul Calibur. I'm not at all a fighting game kind of guy. The only two I've ever had interest in is Super Smash Bros for obvious reasons, and Injustice because I could fight the Joker as Superman and that's cool as fuck. Soul Calibur 2 though is actually not bad. Of course playing as Link helps, but I can again see myself playing this all the way through one day. So yeah, well done Nintendo, you've made me glad to have upgraded. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that this was the ultimate reason I upgraded. For those who know me well, you'll already be aware that Breath of the Wild is my favourite game of all time. It's remained a staple of my life since the moment I played it, and it's the game that got me fully engrossed into the world of Zelda. I have very little to complain about this game, besides one thing: the performance. This and Tears of the Kingdom are games that I've always wanted to play on a better piece of hardware. Being stuck at 30 FPS with consistent frame drops and poor texture quality has always left a small, yet noticeable stain on what are otherwise two of my favourite games ever, which is why I'm so happy to have been blessed with this upgrade. I cannot tell you how meaningful it is to play this game at a smooth 60 FPS, with better animations, textures, audio, and graphical fidelity. It felt like I was playing the definitive version of the game for the first time in 8 years. Going through the Great Plateau again felt like, no pun intended, a breath of fresh air that reminded me of why this is my favourite game ever. I know you can tell the difference from just watching what's on screen, but playing it for yourself is a whole nother divine beast. It may be a slight cop-out from Nintendo to just enhance these games that have already shone in the past, but I frankly don't care if this is the level of quality they've put into it. They've even kept the whistle run exploit in the game, and someone managed to beat it before the game even officially came out. I haven't had the time to try out Tears of the Kingdom on the new hardware yet, but I'm sure it's just as much of a joy as this was, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see me make a video about these Zelda entries at some point in the near future. Now, this is what you've all been waiting for. Mario Kart World. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, this is not only the best Mario Kart game ever made, but arguably the best kart racer ever made. I knew from the first teaser for this game that I was going to adore it, but man, I didn't expect to love it to the degree that I do. With every new entry into the series, I began by playing through all 8 Grand Prix in single player, so I could try out all the new mechanics and tracks for the first time. And to say I was having fun would be an understatement. This was without a doubt the most enjoyment a first playthrough of a Mario Kart game has ever given me. Trying out several new characters and fucking around with all the new mechanics felt like I was a kid again playing Mario Kart for the first time. It was the perfect balance between bringing back what I loved about the series and adding new things that spiced up the franchise in a unique way that only added to the already chaotic energy of the series. And wow, is this game chaotic. From my time in single player and online, this is hands down the wildest and most bombastic racing game I think I've ever played. You rarely get time to relax on the track and prioritise your racing over just paying attention to everything flying around you. Many items have been nerfed in this entry, with stuff like green shells and bananas really not doing a whole lot this time around, whereas blue shells and lightning strikes are much more devastating than most people initially assumed. Mega Mushrooms make a return and feel mighty against your opponents, the hammer item is great for ranged attacks, and the boo is stronger than ever, as it not only gives you invulnerability in someone else's item, but it also lets you drive off-road with no slowdown. Some items do feel kind of pointless though, like the coin related items as well as Kamek, which only serves the purpose of giving everyone a chance to unlock a new character. And speaking of characters, let's talk about them. The character selection in this game, to be fully honest, isn't the best. Choosing guys like Crab or Parabidibud to be included over some of the most iconic characters in the Mario series felt like a poor attempt at spicing up the series in a way that was just not needed. I like the addition of Nabbit and Spike, as they feel important enough to definitely be included, but did we really need fucking Snowman? I'm not angry at these guys being on the roster, I just wish they weren't the only new inclusions when we could have had so many cooler characters make a return or a first time appearance. I'm still convinced they didn't bring back Diddy Kong because of you-know-who. Nintendo did make up for this through the costume department though. I've had so much fun collecting as many costumes as possible for all the mainline characters, with some of my standouts being the Happy skin for Mario and Luigi, the Supercharger for Bowser, and these two for Daisy and Rosalina for absolutely no reason whatsoever. The track selection for this game is also pretty damn great. Old favourites of mine like Airship Fortress and DK Pass make a return, being revamped to be these gorgeous new interpretations of tracks I thought Nintendo would never bring back. New tracks like Crown City, Acorn Heights, Boo Cinema, Bowser's Castle and Great Question Block Ruins are among some of the best new tracks the series has offered in a while. They each offer something new to the game in terms of visuals or trick opportunities or fucking anything at this point. And after spending hours trying it, I actually like travelling between circuits. Sure, it has moments of downtime where you are just driving in a straight line with nothing happening, but as soon as people reach those item boxes, you know shit is about to go down. And Rainbow Road, let's talk about Rainbow Road. I'm going to go ahead and say it, this is the best version of the track by a long shot. The cutscene you get prior to this race being unlocked is riveting enough as is, but when you finally play it, you realise it's a 4-minute juggernaut of a circuit that combines many of the best aspects of previous versions of the beloved track, all into one final journey that is a visual spectacle. Its constant variation and speed changes throughout make it the most dynamic course Nintendo has ever produced. I mean this bit, oh my fucking god man. This all leads into the beginning of the final lap that has one of the most stunning sights I've seen out of a game period. It's everything I could have wanted it to be and more. I've never felt so overjoyed playing a game the same way this has made me feel. So thank you Nintendo for pulling off this miracle of a track for millions of players to enjoy. The final thing I wanted to talk about is the open world this game debuted to the series. I was initially skeptical about just how varied this world would be and if I'd just be bored by what was given, but I'm thankful to say those fears have been wiped. Not only is the open world enjoyable, it perfectly does its job of being mindlessly engaging. Online lobbies let you roam around the map and find collectibles whilst waiting between races, which is now something I don't think Nintendo could ever not do for the future entries. And just exploring this land in single player is as fun enough as it needs to be. There's enough out there to not leave you feeling as if you're aimlessly roaming a deserted wasteland. In my 30 hours with the game, I've never felt like venturing around was a waste of time, and I find it to be a great way of still providing entertainment after you've spent a few hours in online races or knockout tour. It certainly isn't the most expansive world Nintendo has created, and in certain aspects I do wish there was just a tiny bit more to do, but I don't think it's as bad as reviewers have said it is. Once I've collected everything, I can see it getting kind of monotonous, but for the meantime, I'm going to keep playing it and spending hours travelling from track to track in whatever way I please. Whilst there are many things I didn't cover in this review, such as game chat and knockout tour in better detail, I believe I've covered enough about the console as it stands to give you my final thoughts. Is this the best console Nintendo has ever made? Hardware wise? Absolutely. Is it worth the money as it stands? To be honest, that's fully dependent on if you love Mario Kart or not. If you can, buy yourself the bundle and save some money while still getting the console for what I think is a reasonable price. Do I think it will sell millions of units? I mean, and finally, do I think it lived up to the hype? Yes, 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 and yes. So far, this console is everything I've wanted it to be. It's been so much fun trying this thing out and playing Mario Kart with some of my closest friends, and it's been equally as enjoyable discussing the system with fellow content creators who also have their own opinions to share. I couldn't be happier with the item I received in the mail, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the new announcements that will come our way over the coming months. Even at the time of writing this, Nintendo just randomly announced a new Splatoon spin-off, which is fucking dope. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Switch 2. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell me your Switch 2 thoughts in the comments. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Peace.